says. Oh, the practice exam was posted? Is that true? I'm not telling lies, am I?
You would never spread misinformation, especially in a classroom.
That, okay. Yes. No, I would not. Surely. That looks pretty good to me. Okay. Download zip. Are you all stressed about the midterm, or do you not care?
I personally,
Do you care? Here's the instructions.
I cared for the amount where I don't.
Also, like, by the way, I don't know what you all think, but I think the instructions on this one are pretty cool. Like, look at this. Do you all look at this? Look at that. Look at that. How cool. Do you know how long it took me to do that? It was like 3 minutes. It actually wasn't that hard. But, like, it required a lot of ingenuity to realize that I could just, like, put a little bouncing box in the middle of the instructions, right? And what's this one? Oh, it stops at the bottom? Okay. What's this one do? Oh, you have to click it, right? Oh, wow. That's cool. Okay, and then what's this one do? I don't know. I thought this was fun. So you gotta watch out because some of the people that made some of the JavaScript stuff for this class, so there's like the JavaScript solution version of Breakout and Wordle around. Those are like deliberately obfuscated so they don't have the solution in them written in JavaScript. I think precisely 0 students are able to read the solution in JavaScript and translate it into Python without already being able to do that. But anyways, I didn't give you the full demo in JavaScript because I didn't want to get in trouble. So that's the only reason there's not a full demo. But obviously it would be more fun to be able to like play this in your browser. So anyways, okay, and then what code do we open? Let's see. So here's the solution. Wait, how do computers work? That's not what I meant to do. Oh, I open it in VS Code, right? That's right. Open with VS Code, which for some reason is like alphabetically last. They should have called it Visual Code. Abnormal code, perhaps. Okay, so I think this is the solution. Is that right? Oh gosh. Okay, that's fast. Okay. And then I know a bunch of you were asking about hard mode, so that's no problem. You just change the tick milliseconds to 10, and then you perish instantly, right? Like, look how hard. Okay. Oh wow. Okay. Wait, maybe we can make the window bigger. Oh. Okay. 50. Wow. Okay. I can't do it. My reflexes are wow.
I think if you put it on a mouse or something, it might be.
Oh, we should get a mouse. I don't know that I can unplug this. I think what I really need somehow is I just need this like play to happen, and then I need to get to the window in time. Okay, all right, we got it. Okay, I can't do it. Anyways, don't do that. Just do this. It's fine. No, okay, I still died there, but there we go. Isn't that nice? And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, what if you do not have the highly attuned reflexes of a console gamer, right? Well, just put another 0 on here. Easy peasy, right? Wait, am I gonna perish? Am I gonna perish? No! Okay. I don't know when to jump. Wow, look at the vertical on that. Get hot pink in the NBA. That's what I say. Okay. Okay. Before I start talking about the Alien versus Predator films for an hour, does anyone want to ask me anything about the practice midterm? Do you want me to do it in front of you? Do you want to not worry about it?
When's the midterm again?
Friday.
All right.
Yeah. The hint, here's always the hint. If there's not a homework by Monday, there's a midterm that week.
Yeah.
That's the trick.
I'm mad by this.
Yeah. Anyways, this one doesn't do anything. Okay. Wow, that's so fun. Okay. Sets. Review question mark? That was if you wanted to review the midterm. Otherwise, we're going to do sets. Okay, so let's sort of like get our noggins on here. You know about strings, right? Strings were the first thing we wrote a for loop over, right? We were like, strings, got it, easy, no problem. And then we're like, what if we want things to loop over other than characters? And then boom, lists, right? And then what did we do? We did the unspeakable. We put strings inside a list, right? And then someone put lists inside a list. Do you remember when someone put lists inside a list for image shop, right? That was terrible, right? It was actually totally fine, right? That was a leading question. It was totally fine, right? Okay, and then we did tuples. Then we did classes. So we're just like going through like all of the ways you can put a bunch of stuff together. Okay, and last time we did dictionaries, which were awesome. Dictionaries are awesome, right? But there's something we're sort of missing on our grid, which is that, so we have sort of a few axes here, but one of them is like ordered, and then one of them is like not ordered, okay? And so we do have, for example, we have things that are ordered and, you know, have an index or selector, right? And so we have, what do we have? We got strings, have indexes, lists, tuples, so on. The other things that we have things that are not ordered and do have an index or selector, which is dictionaries. But the thing with dictionaries that's kind of weird is like, well, why can't you just like put everything in there without a selector? Or why can't you put in none for everything? So here's something we could do with a dictionary. Say I just wanted a collection of things. For example, all of my classes are my favorite class, so they don't exist in any order, right? So if I wanted to make a list of my like favorite classes, sorry, I have to call them courses because classes is another word. I could do something like, I could say like, hey, we got the old CS 151. Everyone knows that, one of the goated classes of all time. We've got the, what else do I teach? We got the IDS 101, the college colloquia. Any of you ever take college colloquia? Mm-hmm. Yeah, can we hear it for college colloquia real quick? Maybe? No? Okay. All right, that was not as popular as I thought it might have been. And then we've got the, what else do I teach? We got the CS 271, which is this class in Rust. That's not true, but it's close. And so if you put this in a list, right, it might look like one of these are the favorite, right? Here, we're going to put this in dash. So that's bad, right? You don't want to say that CS 151 comes ahead of IDS 101, because then the students that are in both classes will spread vicious rumors about you, right? And if we put this in a dictionary and we just wanted them to not be in order, well, these things are all like, they're indexes. They're not the elements, right? So like, do you put in like, you just put in CS 151 again? Do you put in like none for everything? Do you put in just like an arbitrary integer? And then that works. But maybe you just want a collection of things that aren't in any particular order, right? And I often want collections of things that aren't in any particular order. And the things that are not in any particular order and do not have an index or selector, that is, aren't key value pairs, we need something over here. So we can't have something that's ordered and doesn't have an index, right? That doesn't make sense. So this is, whoa, okay, I thought a keybind was going to work there. I think this is impossible, right? Or at least inconceivable, right? I don't know how to spell inconceivable. It's impossible. Okay, we need something over here, and the thing we have over here is called the set. A set is basically a dictionary that doesn't have key-value pairs. It just has keys, or it just has values. Doesn't really matter which way you think of it. And so the way this works is, you can take your favorite courses. You can print out your favorite courses. There's a lot of drama on this screen. Do you see all this nonsense on here? Here, let's close some of this stuff. What do you think this is? Update? I don't really want to do that. That's heinous. Okay. So, we can print out our favorite courses. These are just the courses I'm taking this term. You might not be taking the same courses as me. That's okay. What if we just get rid of the values? Is that allowed? Oh my gosh, it's allowed. We can just get... Which means that now, every time you have a collection of things, you can decide by which brackets are on them, whether they are a list. Please work. We're going to print the type of this. That's a list. You've seen tuple. Wow, VS Code, I love you. Okay, so I was watching a YouTube series by an ultra marathoner, right? Because I don't have hobbies anymore. And whenever something went wrong in this person's training, this person would say, "Oh, that's adversity training, just what I need. Thank you, universe." I feel like VS Code is adversity training. Okay, so this is the old tuple, right? And then we can put it in the little curly brackets. Thank you, universe. Okay, and that's a set. That's what that is. And then by contrast with the set, the way to make something a dictionary instead of a set, because you use the same things, you got to put in key value pairs instead of just one or the other. So that's a dictionary, and this is a set. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, didn't you just over on this screen say that there's not an index or selector? So how do I check to see if there's things inside the set, right? So you can't say, for example, favorite courses 1. That's against the law, right? But you could do that if you had a list. Thank you, universe. That's allowed, right? So how do I gaze upon the nonsense within my set, right? Well, we can do many of the typical things, which is obviously you can look at the set in its entirety. We can loop over sets for fave in favorite courses. Print fave. That's no problem. We can check to see print CS151 in favorite courses. That works, right? So we can do many of the same operations. We just can't look them up by the number. That's all. If we do say, for example, you've seen this way of looping over sets. So this is unaltered from a set. But we can also say for I in range length of favorite courses, print fav I. That, let's see, no, print, oh yeah, right, favorite courses. You can do this with a list, and if you change it to a set, that is not allowed because they are not in any particular order. So this is not permitted. We have to say for fav in favorite courses. And it's a lot of text. Okay, so you're allowed to loop over it that way. And I'm basically thinking of this as filling out this diagram. You can think of it however you like. Okay, so the obvious application to use for this is to take the set of the Alien films and the set of the Predator films and then do set operations over them. Why do we not want to put the Alien films in order? Well, just to get on my soapbox for a little bit, the order the films were released in and the order that they occur within the universe are different orders, right? So I think this is somewhat common for cinematic universes. But Alien, which was released in '79, is chronologically in universe after Prometheus and Covenant. So we want to have not any particular order, and so let's go ahead. Is this working the way I want? No, that's not what I wanted. What am I doing? Okay, there we go. So let's go ahead and make something called films. And we'll use Alien, the first film directed by Ridley Scott. Aliens, the second film directed by James Cameron. Have you all heard of like Space Marines or like Colonial Marines or something, this like trope in fiction? Nominally, that was invented by James Cameron in Aliens because he needed someone for the aliens to kill, which is a crazy backstory for like, now everyone's into Warhammer 40k and stuff. So anyways, that's from Aliens, which I didn't know. Y'all all seen Starship Troopers, maybe? Like the anti-fascist satirical film? Yeah, so that has like like Space Marines in it or something, right? Apparently the book was less subtle, which is incredible.
It's a totally different thing.
It's different? Okay.
Orson Scott, yeah, it was a Heimdall's, but it's a totally different thing.
Okay. Well, shout out books. Things that I definitely read. Y'all read books?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Okay. Oh, you try. See, that seems more honest.
I just don't have time.
Oh, so you have time to read books, but not to watch movies.
No, I don't have time for either.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. So let's take a look at our films. Let's go ahead and print our films out. There we go. Alien, Alien Resurrection, Aliens, Alien 3. By the way, what's going on here? This is printing out in a different order than I put them in. This is the release order. This is, I believe, alphabetical order, maybe? That doesn't quite sound right either. I have no idea what order this is. So that is our set. And again, we are not allowed to look at the 0th element of the set. There isn't one. Okay. Sets cannot contain duplicates. So, for example, say they were trying to make an additional Alien 3. Why would they do this? I don't know. Alien 3, maybe not the best film in the franchise, right? But, we can... I wonder how you add things to a set. I don't remember. Okay.
You need an honor.
Well, you can definitely do set operations. Well, I'm gonna just try and add something to this. Let's go ahead and add Prometheus. Well, we tried. Okay. Can I, like, insert? Sometimes when you just guess random words in Python, it works. Append? Ah, okay. All right, so I don't remember how to add things in sets. And it's going to be on the next slide, so we don't need to worry about it. Okay. Alien is so nice, I'm going to include it twice. Oh, it only shows up once, and also the order changed. You see that? Oh no, it didn't. It's like I'm lying. I'm telling lies. Don't listen to me. Wait, it changes every time we run it? That's a little spicy. Okay. So I can't put duplicates in here. Maybe that's useful. This is good when you are like. When did I do this recently? Oh right. So I was using sets to create the dependency graph of the Bachelors of Science in Computer Science. And just because CS151 is the prereq for Data 351 and CS151 is the prereq for CS152 does not mean there are two CS151s. It is the same CS151 that is the prereq for both of those two classes. So you would take a set of classes, and every time a class is referred to, you add it to the set. And so if you discover some new prerequisite, it's added, but if you don't, then you're not just like creating multiple copies of the same class. So maybe this is useful. We can put in Alien 3 times. And then Alien 3 appears. No, just kidding. Sorry, Alien 3 was already there. That's unrelated. Okay. Oh, right. Okay, yeah, so panic. Hold on, we have to do a panic. I forgot to panic earlier, so we're going to panic now. You remember how when we just, like, threw the brackies together, that gave us a dictionary? Uh-oh. How do you make an empty set? Well, do you remember the secret I showed you last time where you can just ask for a dictionary and it gives you one? And you can also do that with a list. And for all I know, you can do that with a tuple. I've never tried, of course. Well, you can also just do that with a set. But when you have an empty set, it doesn't print out as empty brackets. It just says set. But I think if you put in something in here, can I just put in alien, or does it have to be a collection? Oh, I get the letters in alien. Which are also in no particular order. So this is actually naily. That's how you can make sets. And oftentimes, when you're making a set, you will make it from a list or something. And I think you can also, I don't know if you've ever wanted to do this in your life ever. Maybe you like really want the first 10 natural numbers and don't want them to be in order. Well, you can put them in a set. And this showed up in order, but they're not actually in order. Because if you look up 7, there's just random keys hitting on that doesn't work, right? So you can do this with different types of things. Can you just put a range here? Okay, that's a relief that didn't work. Okay, so that's how you create an empty set. And when do you create an empty set? Usually when you want to add things to it, starting from nothing. Okay, so the fundamental set operation is membership. And how do we assess membership? Well, we say, we'll call these the alien, we'll just call them films. So is alien in films? Yes, it is. Fun fact, I don't know if this is a fun fact. Y'all know the Avatar films? Yeah? Avatar and Avatar Way of Water, directed by
James Cameron.
Who directed Aliens and invented Space Marines, the main characters in Avatar, or the antagonists. I don't know. I think it depends on who you're rooting for, which probably depends on your politics. But anyways, this class is about Space Marines. Okay, so, what do you mean really about? It's about intro to programming in Python. Can you not tell? So that was, don't answer that. Okay, so there's a logo on a ship in Avatar that is the Weyland-Yutani logo, and Weyland-Yutani Corporation is the corporation that contracts the Nostromo, which is the ship in the first Alien film.
So avatars are in the alien universe?
So avatars are in the alien universe, right? Which means... Okay, I'll turn this car around. Is Avatar in the alien universe? I don't know. I'm going to ask my artificial general... Wow. The machine superintelligence has claimed that Avatar is in the alien universe. So that's pretty cool. Should I just throw Way of Water in here real quick?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. By the way, this also means Firefly is in the alien universe. I don't know if anyone still likes Firefly. Okay. So, the union... sorry. The fundamental operation is set membership, okay? Mostly we're checking sets to see if they contain things. But sometimes you got two sets, right? And a time you might have two sets is if you got the Alien films and the Avatar films, right? So we're going to call this Alien. And we're going to call this one Avatar, which is going to be Avatar. And I think the only other Avatar film is Way of Water, right?
There's also Ash coming out.
For now, right? But there's also more Alien films coming out, so we're safe. Don't worry. Wow, I put Alien in there 3 times. That's crazy. So I'm going to write something that is painful to me on this screen. I'm going to refer to the Alien Cinematic Universe. We're just going to call it the CU. Alien CU. And the Alien CU is supposed to be Alien and Avatar, and also we might add some other things to it over time, right? So how am I going to do that? Well, can I add Alien to Avatar? Alien CU. Ooh! No, that's not allowed. And why is that not allowed? Well, sometimes it makes sense to add things together because we know what addition is going to do and it makes sense. And sometimes there might be more than one thing that looks like addition. My opinion in sets is that both the operation we call intersection, which is you take everything in both things, and union, which is you take everything in either thing. And I'm like looking at a Venn diagram in the back of the room right now, so like there's one right there. Both of those might feel an awful lot like addition. So I'm going to say Alien, Union, Avatar. And this is going to take all of the Alien films and all of the Avatar films. What does this mean? Well, these are the films that are Alien or Avatar films. Now, are there any films that are both Alien and Avatar films? Well, if there were, we would take intersection. But there's not an Avatar film that is affirmatively an Alien film. There's not an Alien film that is affirmatively an Avatar film. So this isn't actually a great example. We have to, in case of emergency, break glass, and it's time to add the Predator franchise. And we're going to add a few other films here. Specifically, we're going to add Alien vs. Predator, which we've all seen, so I don't have to explain what that film's about. And then I'm not going to spell out Alien vs. Predator Requiem. That is a name for nerds. We're going to call it AVPR, okay? AVPR, set in my home state of Colorado. So, fun fact, I am, in a way, part of the Alien cinematic universe, right? So, hey, you know, it's kind of cool, right? Since I have, what is it that you do instead of watching movies? You sleep or something? Yeah, because I sleep. Yeah, I sleep between 0 and 9 hours a night, like a normal human, right? Yes. All us normal humans, we sleep between 0 and 9? Okay. I unfortunately don't know what all the Predator films are, but I'm pretty sure there's one called Predator, which is the only action movie, to my knowledge, to feature 2 future governors, because Jesse Ventura became the governor of Montana, and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
It is.
Yeah. It is the only one?
Uh-huh. I've looked into this.
That we know of so far, because it's possible that both Vin Diesel and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson are going to become elected governor of whatever states they live in. They probably live in California, don't they?
New Jersey.
Vin Diesel does not live. Yeah, probably does.
I bet Vin Diesel lives in New Jersey. Okay, someone look up where Vin Diesel lives after class. I bet there's a Predator too, but I don't know.
Predators.
Predators was okay.
The Predator.
I'm just going to put Prey in here, okay? Because that's the only one I'd recommend. Okay. So, we can have... We're going to take the intersection of Alien and Predator. I asked to teach a cinema class, and they wouldn't let me do it for, I think, what are now obvious reasons, right? Wow! The Alien cinematic universe contains so many great films and also a bunch of Predator films. And one film by James Cameron. But are there any films that are both Alien films and Predator films? Oh my goodness, Alien vs. Predator, where our heroes, employed by the way, the Weyland-Yutani Corporation, which appears in Avatar and also Firefly, go to the Arctic and discover an ancient pyramid containing both aliens and predators, and you'll never guess what happens to the humans. And then the second one, Alien vs. Predator Requiem, where the alien and the predator show up not too far from my hometown in Colorado. And I think they, drain a swimming pool or something. I just remember there being a swimming pool in that film for some reason. It's about, high schoolers. You remember being in high school?
Sadly.
Yeah, right. So if you're trying to block that out, don't watch AVPR. It might take you back. Okay, so that's set intersection. Okay, well, I think now we probably really understand this quite well. By the way, Sigourney Weaver, don't actually know how to say that name. I think it's Sigourney. It might be Sigourney or something. Is the protagonist of both the Avatar and the Alien series. Bit of a flex there, right? I don't know, save some being awesome for the rest of us, right? Now, it may be the case that you are an Alien extremist, right? I certainly am not one of those, or an Alien purist, perhaps an Alien fundamentalist. And I'm none of those things. I am a moderate centrist that believes in a pragmatic approach to alien films, right? But if I were running in, for example, a slant alien district, sorry, I was reading way too much about electoral politics last night. So, okay, we love aliens, right? And so maybe you only want to watch the alien films, but you don't want to watch the Predator films because you don't believe in watching films that contain future governors, right? That's a reasonable thing to not want to do. So I think there's some way to do set minus. Is it just minus? Difference, of course, yes. So we can take the alien films, and so we would use the difference to establish the cinematic universe if we were like purists and didn't want to have any predators appear in our alien film, right? Which is ironic because the aliens are themselves, I think, predacious, predatory, predicates,
No.
predictors.
Maybe.
Of future governors.
They predate. Okay, look, it's the alien films without a trace of the Predator films because I used difference. Now, maybe you want to watch the Predator films without the alien films. Oh, okay, this is interesting. Union and intersection, it doesn't matter what order the arguments are in, just like addition. But with set difference, it matters what we put first and what we put second. And I also think, I was a little surprised that you couldn't just say, like, regular minus here, because there's only one difference. I can't spell. Oh, you totally can. Okay, so you're allowed to use minus here. Why? When you're adding two sets together, it's unclear if you want union or intersection, so you have to specify. When you're subtracting two sets, everyone knows what you mean. Don't worry about it, okay? Alien minus Predator. Actually, Alien versus Predator is okay. I would just not recommend AVPR.
There's actually one other movie that has two future governors in it,
Okay.
which is The Running Man, which also has Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jesse Ventura.
So it's the same two
It's the
governors.
same two governors. They wanted to do a repeat.
Good for them. And they're probably going to be in like the Expendables 7 in a couple years. So, does anyone know what Expendable we're on? Okay, good. That was a trick question. If you answered yes, I was going to file a care report and tell you to get more sleep. Okay, so the symmetric set difference consists of all elements in A or B, but not both. Symmetric set difference, Python. Symmetric difference. Okay, we can do this. We can figure this out. We're clever enough. Okay. Symmetric. I should have moved. I couldn't type because I wasn't getting the visible feedback because I put my cursor on top of where I was typing and it just melted my brain. Okay, so we're going to do the symmetric difference. What is this going to be? This is all of the Alien films, all of the Predator films, none of the Alien versus Predator films. This makes a little bit more sense with the Avatar films, for example. I've never seen anyone use this. Okay. So those are the set operations. Let's make some Venn diagrams. Who loves Venn diagrams? Yay! Okay. How'd I make these? That's crazy. Did I make these? They look pretty good, which would suggest I didn't make them, but I've never seen anyone else use these before. Okay. Alright, so have to introduce a few additional Alien films. Okay, so this is the Alien original trilogy. You've probably gotten used to this a little bit more now, where there's trilogies that don't have three things in them. The most famous one is the Hobbit trilogy, which has Hobbit Part 1, Hobbit Part 2, Hobbit Part 3A, and Hobbit Part 3B, which I think are... One of them's Battle of Five Armies. Is that... Am I talking sense?
I'm pretty sure
There's only three?
I think there's only three.
There's only three? Wait, are there 3.5 Twilights?
There are
Twilight, New Moon, Breaking Dawn,
five
Breaking Dawn Part
Twilights.
2. Oh, there's five?
Maybe
What's the fifth
five.
one?
Yeah, that's
The
a saga,
Hunger
not a
Games.
trilogy.
That's a saga?
Yeah. It's a saga.
It's a saga. Okay.
The Hunger Game trilogy with
The Hunger Game trilogy has 4 in it.
The Hunger Game trilogy has 4 in it. I knew one of them did. Okay. Can I get a shout out for young adult literature? Woo! Anyways, Alien, famous young adult. Okay. And then there's Alien, which is like post 2010 or something. And this is Prometheus, which, by the way, I was watching Frankenstein this weekend. You all know I was watching Frankenstein. You know, you put like a little bit of Mary Shelley and a little bit of Guillermo del Toro, and I am there. Mm-hmm. That is my jam, right? But what is the subtitle of Frankenstein? The Modern Prometheus. So I'm sitting there watching Frankenstein, and I'm like, this is the same film as Ridley Scott's Prometheus in the Alien universe, which probably means Frankenstein is in the Alien cinematic universe, not the Frankenstein cinematic universe. I got you. Yes. Okay. Slight. Yeah. Okay. All right. Alien Covenant.
Why is it Prometheus and not Alien Prometheus?
So Ridley Scott was going to make Art, and then it didn't sell well, so they made him put Alien in the title of all the later ones.
Cool.
That's also why Alien Covenant is not that good. Alien Romulus, awesome. Turns out the studios found out they loved making money, so they allowed someone to make a good movie. So we got the Alien originals and we got the Alien post. Do we need to do anything? Okay. So you can do set union here. Print Alien Orig Union Alien post, and this is all of the Alien films. Would I watch them in this order? I don't know. Talk to me after class if you want to watch the Alien films. Okay. Separately, so I mentioned you can't do plus. Let me show you a little trick. I think we all like not using method notation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what happens if we just slap one of these like vertical bars here?
Such that.
Oh, no way. Oh, it works. Oh, and I wonder... Let's put some other stuff here. What happens if we... Oh, okay. So, no.
Oh, so
That's fine. That's fine. Because I have an ingenious idea. Let's change our example. We're going to take the Ridley Scott Alien films. Scort. Alien. Prometheus. Covenant. And then... Oh, okay. So it's the original films and... So it's anything that is both Alien and Ridley Scott. This is everything that is either Alien or Ridley Scott, right? So this is union, and is intersection, and then is minus. Okay, so a lot of these things we can do. Okay? We can do set difference. So what if you like really like Alien and don't like it Ridley Scott, which God help you. Okay, you can watch only Aliens, Alien 3, and Alien Resurrection. It pains me to say this, right? But you can also watch Alien Romulus, which I don't have on here. Okay. We did the intersection with and then you can do. What is this? Oh, there's something for symmetric set difference. That's crazy. Sorry, my glasses came off because I got so excited. Look at that. You can do symmetric set difference using this thing, right? I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, good thing we never used that to take powers because we would be confused. It was being used for symmetric set difference the entire time. I know you all think this makes perfect sense. I agree, right? Okay, so. So it's the films that are not in the original series or are directed by Ridley Scott. If you want to be confused, this is my recommendation for you. This is two completely unrelated things. Okay. Is symmetric minus, and we'll just like throw some question marks on there because it's right. You never say like, hey, I'm subtracting 6 from 7. I want to both subtract 7 from 6 and 6 from 7 and then like get everything that's left. No one has ever done that, right? But it looks like this diagram, right? So the thing that's missing in the middle is alien.
It's exclusive OR.
It's exclusive OR. And in fact, this thing is also exclusive OR. So, true X or false, yeah. And actually all of these work with true and false, by the way. So, I didn't know how to tell you this, but you could have been using them the whole time. Okay. So I often have this problem in my daily life where someone says, Calvin, how can you show that A set minus the union of B and C is equal to A set minus B union A set minus C? This is a common question I get in my daily life. Usually because people are asking me about the relationship between the Alien, the Predator, and the Avatar films, right? No problem. So what is this? We're going to take A, and then we're going to set minus B union C. Okay, so here's A. You got it? We see it? There it is. And here's the union of B and C, okay? Okay, that equals A without the union of B and C, right, which is this part, okay? Yeah, intersection. I don't actually know how to teach set theory, I just know how to do it, so I have never said any of these things out loud. Okay, what is this? This is A minus B, no problem, right? We got all of A, none of B. Well, we don't have all of A. We have all of A that isn't in B. It makes sense, right? This makes sense? Mm-hmm. Get some nodding, maybe some like, woo! Okay, all right. And so we're gonna take the union of that with A minus C, which is, okay, so this is A, and we're gonna take C out of it, so it's gonna be the top part of the cookie, right? This is much easier if you have Oreos. You see how that would make sense? I could take the bites out of the Oreos, right? And then like layer them on top of each other. I saw the Oreos in my pantry this morning and I was like, I don't need to take those to school. And now I'm really wishing I had those Oreos, right? Oh, look! Wait. Those are the same thing? Is this a mathematical proof? It is. I tricked you. I was teaching you math. Okay. Set methods. I don't know how often you're going to work with sets. We usually end up working with dictionaries in Python. It's just a little bit too useful to have keys and values. But we can do all of the things with sets that we do with, let's see, x for x in range 5. S equals print s. Okay. So we can get those values if we needed them for something. I don't know. You can take the length of that. That's, no, lowercase s, lowercase s. Okay, the length is 20. Let's get back out of full screen here. What have I done? Okay. You can check to see if 5 is in S. You can check to see if 6 is in S. It is and it isn't. Okay? Okay. Sometimes you need a copy of these things. You remember all the nonsense we did where we had like lists and we're like, hey, you got a list. You got x equals 1, 2, 3, and then you got like y equals x, and then you have z equals 1, 2, 3, and sometimes they're equal and sometimes they're not, and it's like crazy and weird, right? Right? You remember all that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. You remember how it made no sense? Okay. So anyways, if you ever need a copy, just make a copy of it. And so we can do t equals a copy of s, or maybe it's s.copy. Do I know if it's copy of s or s.copy? I have no idea. I'm just going to type things in. I think this is going to work. Okay, that worked. Okay. Then what are we going to do? We're going to print t. And then I need to add something to t, so let's add 7. No, let's add 100. Then they're all still multiples of 5. Okay, and then we can print t again. And print s. And are they different? Yes, they are. Is it hard to see? Yes. There's 100 in one of these somewhere. There it is. There it is. See, t has 100 in it. I make that up. I'm not telling lies. Okay. And what does the 100 represent? It represents the score Alien would get out of 100. right? Okay. We can remove things. Does anyone have a number they don't like that is a multiple of 5 under between 0 and 95 inclusive?
65.
I can't stand the 65, right? It's just s dot remove 65. Is it gone? Well, it's easy to check, actually. Why am I 65 in S? And is also 65 still in T? So that's going to be false and true, because we took 65 out of S and not out of T. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, what if you try to remove something that might not be there? Oh no, you get an error. Oh, that's tragic, right? What if you don't care? What if you just need to make sure there's no 17s in S? Just hit it with the old discard. Boom, no errors. Nothing happens. Utterly silent. Like a peaceful meadow in midwinter. Right? That's what discard is like, right? So you can use all of these. Why use sets? I think big math is into sets. Big math is like pretty cool.
Yeah.
But like not that cool. They're not like as cool as cinema.
This is class really.
This class is about intro to programming in Python.
Keep saying.
So, right, so I used the example of sets with the Alien films, right? And what did I use? I used the titles of the films. That's the key in a key value pair where the value is the film. So I was still working with dictionaries all day today, right? What are sets really useful for? A lot of people know set theory. So you can oftentimes explain things using set. I frequently, to my colleagues, have been explaining course requirements using intersection and union.
Can you use set operations on dictionaries?
I don't know. Have you ever tried? Wait, why am I trying this? Okay, whatever. No, okay. So I'm going to create a dictionary. Okay, it's going to be Alien Scott. We're going to list the films and my score for them out of 10, right? Alien, easy 10, right? Prometheus, also a 10. Alien Covenant. Well, I think you got to hit him with the, like, 9.9. Wait, no, we only use integers. Okay. And then, that's it. Okay. And then Alien Ridge. And you hit him with the Alien. But here's the thing, right? And I think this is what the problem is going to be. In the context of the original trilogy, without the benefit of Prometheus and Covenant, Alien's probably only a 9 out of 10 film. So we probably have a different key in value. Aliens, that's a hard 0. Get that out of here. That's non. James Cameron, canceled. Okay. So what do? We say print Alien Scott. Which one do we want to do?
And.
Doesn't matter. Oh, yeah, you want to do and? Okay. Alien Ridge. Can't do it. Why not? Because we're not really using them as sets, right? Because they additionally have values in there. So, like, what would you do if these were like critic scores or something, which we're imagining they are? How do you decide what value the dictionary element has? You can't. So I think of set operations as not being meaningful. I think like the reason you can, whenever you're using sets, you're fundamentally abstracting things. And the thing I'm abstracting here is when I say the film Alien, it fundamentally doesn't matter whether I'm like referring it to in like IMAX or on film or digital or the director's cut or on Netflix or something. Like we sort of have some like Platonic ideal we understand we're thinking of. And that's why sets work so well with numbers. Because sort of like there's not like widespread disagreement over the value of 4. But I think I can put 4.0 in here. Okay, I'm not. That's good. Hold on, I'm trying one thing. That's crazy. Okay, I've never tried this before and I was happier before I did. Okay. Sets can make it easier to reason about your program because you can draw Venn diagrams. Sorry, I have to look at something again. Those are entirely different numbers. We have to check one thing. Hold on. Okay, the order doesn't matter. Where's the dot zero going? You are not. It's an idea. It's a concept.
Do you not eat your concepts for breakfast?
No.
Oh.
I'm so sad right now. It never occurred to me to do this before somehow, and like, thank goodness it never did. That's a day ruiner. Okay. Okay. Closing thoughts. I'm so defeated right now. Do whatever you want, I guess. Like, I'm so sad. Okay. To use computation effect, I'm not going to read that to you. You're in Python. Use lists or dictionaries always. It is rare that you want to be using a tuple or a set, but it does happen. The other thing to do, when do you use tuples? You use tuples when they need to be the keys of a dictionary. So there are some things we didn't try putting in sets today. That's not allowed. I can't put in, the example of a list we used was like CS1 151. You can't do that. When do you not use lists? You don't use lists when you have to put things in a set or a dictionary. So you are allowed to put a tuple in a set or a dictionary. Why? You can't put things in the keys of a dictionary or the elements of a set if they can change. You can't put mutable things in there. You can't put the xenomorph in there. You can only put us because we can't grow and change. That's a bad example. You can't put rocks. No, rocks. You can't put 4 because 4 doesn't grow and change. Well, you can put 4 because use tuples if it's the key of a dictionary. Okay? I think that made perfect sense, right? We agree that everything I'm teaching this term makes sense, right? Anyways, today I taught you about sets. And what are some things I did not teach you about today? I did not teach you about movie franchises. I think that's the only thing I didn't teach today. I pretty much covered everything else. Okay. That's all I got. Does really no one have any questions about the practice midterm?
I haven't looked at it yet.
You haven't looked at it yet. Well, this is the solution.
Someone clip it.
I gave it to you. It's posted. Chat, do clip this. Please clip this a lot. Anyways, you can take a look at the midterm or not, or you can YOLO it on Friday. Oh, there's one announcement. There's an announcement. What's the announcement? Sorry. You can pack up or whatever. I did not plan enough time for you to have no questions about the midterm, just so you know. Okay. This day has perished. You get next Wednesday off, okay?
As in classes canceled? Or
As in classes canceled. This class, yeah.
Don't ask questions.
Well, no, that was a good question. Do not show up to your other classes and be like, Calvin said. Okay, no, sorry, there's two things. We're not meeting on Wednesday, and we're not telling anyone we're not meeting on Wednesday. Okay, so there's two announcements.
Yeah, clip it.